From the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, two of the hottest teams in the NBA, the Houston Rockets on a 4-game win streak, and the Detroit Pistons on a 5-game win streak. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pontiac, Michigan. Now, everybody knows about the loss of...
Well, I think this is one of the reasons why it's difficult to win on the road. You had the Pistons sitting at home with a day off, a chance to prepare for the Rockets, where the Rockets were out playing a very tough game, very demanding game in Chicago, having to fly in here and getting prepared to play in tonight's ball game. Now, what we'll probably see is the Rockets win by about 20 points to throw that theory right down the toilet.
So the Houston Rockets coming out to center court with Ralph Sampson at 7'4", Hakeem Olajuwon at 7 feet tall, Dirk Minifield, who came in and just really provided an excellent spark at point guard. He joined this team December 8th, and he had 13 assists for Bill Fitch's club last night. And Dirk Minifield's done a really good job at point guard.
Well, Dirk, a player who they brought in just to play limited minutes, and he's been playing over 30 minutes a game, so he's been thrust into a new role, and he's responded admirably, and obviously he learned a very valuable lesson in his stint in the CBA.
Well, it's really cold weather here in Detroit, the high in the teens today. Nevertheless, an excellent crowd as usual here at the Silverdome. That's because this city is enthused over the play of their Detroit Pistons. Houston Rockets with the ball. Out high, Olajuwon. And we've got a hold away from the ball early in the ball game. It's on Sidney Green.
Well, Sidney just had two hands right in the middle section of Ralph Sampson, preventing him to move across the lane. Very obvious foul.
Sidney Green out of University of Nevada, Las Vegas, his third year.
Watch for the double team on the first time the ball goes inside.
And a moving pick by Ralph Sampson that knocked Isiah Thomas into the cheap seats. And the ball turns over. It'll belong to the Pistons.
Talking about this backcourt of the Pistons, I was saying to Chuck Daly, they have two great point guards. The Rockets would be so tough if they had a player like Joe Dumars leading the way, even though Minifield's doing a nice job.
Laimbeer from 19 feet. Bill Laimbeer. Excellent outside shooter. 7th year from Notre Dame.
Best outside shooting center in the league, Bob.
Sampson with the hook, ball short. Rebound Laimbeer, and the Pistons are running. The bounce pass goes awry. Here comes Dirk Minifield after a mistake by Isiah Thomas.
Credit Minifield with great anticipation. There's the double.
Hard to stop him in there. Olajuwon rattles it home.
He's so quick, you have to get to him before he can make that move inside. Chuck Daly emphasized that in the shoot-around this morning, and they didn't do it that time.
Here's Dantley. Missing. Olajuwon rebounding. Olajuwon had 15 rebounds against Chicago last night and blocked 4 shots. Rodney McCray. Minifield. Robert Reed, and down to Sampson. He's doubled, but will shoot off the glass and miss. Pistons run again. Deja vu.
They'll run every time they get an opportunity. Chuck Daly wants to take advantage of the fact that they're a smaller, quicker team.
Laimbeer open. The baseline cover. Laimbeer has all 4 of Detroit's points, and they lead by 2. Pistons not only have a good starting 5, but at least 3 players who are performing very well off the bench. We'll talk about as the game goes along. Sampson.
And that's what they must do. Sampson has got to keep moving like that. Olajuwon giving up the ball and good cutting to the basket whenever they double.
Adrian Dantley being guarded by Rodney McCray. Green tips it away out of bounds. It'll belong to the Houston Rockets. 10:02 to go. Quarter number 1. Bob Neal, Rick Barry with you from the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. Robert Reed coming off the screen from the low post. Lobs into Sampson. How do you beat a triple team? You go straight up. It helps to be 6'4". 6'4" is the score. It helps to be 7'4", I should say. 6'4" is the score. Dumars misses. Sampson rebounds.
Pistons did a good job getting back defensively that time.
Ralph Sampson, who likes to handle the ball out high. I guess everybody in the league knows about that by now. Olajuwon is fouled as he shoots, and the foul is going to be on Isiah Thomas.
Isiah Thomas didn't think he had committed the foul. One of the reasons his name Isiah is on the back, they had another player with the name of Thomas in the exhibition season, and they never changed the jersey, so you see Isiah Thomas on his jersey. Normally it's only the last name.
Full name, Isiah Lord Thomas III. Great story about Isiah in Sports Illustrated current issue.
He's a fine young man. Still talking about that foul.
He says he likes basketball so much he hopes that they play it in heaven.
Well, he'd probably make any team they had up there.
Thomas with a rebound. Laimbeer can't control after it was tipped away, and after Thomas lost control of the ball, and it'll be played by Houston again. 6-4. Houston leading.
Head coach, the general manager, Jack McCloskey, told us today that he thinks Isiah is so good and such a talent that he gets upset when he makes any mistakes at all. He expects him to be perfect sometimes.
Sampson from about 18.
Don't let him have that shot all night.
Laimbeer rebounds. Sidney Green. Rebound McCray. Minifield has Sampson on the other side of the hoop. Doesn't need it. Minifield buries it from just inside the three-point line.
Well, the Rockets don't seem to be averse to running themselves.
8-4. We said they'd look tired, and of course they look like they're just fresh off a vacation. Laimbeer shooting for the baseline again, misses for the first time tonight. Dantley battling for it, but it's controlled by Rodney McCray, who'll push the ball up the court as fast as any point guard. Sampson fires it again from the free throw line. 10-4 Houston. Might expect a Chuck Daly timeout here if this continues.
If they don't score this time, next possession, you can bet there'll be one.
Minifield, nice bounce pass to McCray. Misses, but there's Robert Reed, who stepped down the end line. It'll belong to Detroit.
Taking a 20-second timeout is what Chuck Daly's asking for. He did a similar thing in their game against Cleveland the other night. Cleveland had run off to an 8-2 advantage. They hadn't played well, the Pistons, that is, and Chuck Daly called a 20-second timeout. The Pistons came out and ran off 17-2 to take control of that game, and it was their 5th victory in a row. Here's an easy layup, and he just didn't look. You see, McCray took his eye off the basket. He thought he had an easy one, and Robert Reed not able to get it in as he chases it down. Well, Roch's left foot, the left heel, touched the white line, and the moment that happened, he was out of bounds.
Nice piece of camera work. Mark Goldsmith, our director tonight.
Looking at Bill,
our producer.
Sorry about that, Bob. Looking at Bill Laimbeer, as you look at the coaching staff, Chuck Daly, Dick Versailles, the silver-haired fox on the right, and Ronnie Rothstein, who you know from Atlanta, his days down there with Mike Fratello. And we talked about Laimbeer. Because of his outside shooting, that's why the trade for Dantley has worked so effectively for them, because Dantley at 6'5" is a great inside player, and Laimbeer with that outside shooting ability opens things up inside for Dantley, who takes it right there.
Adrian Dantley. You saw the disparity in turnovers early here in the ball game, with Detroit having the lead in that negative statistical category. 10-6 Houston. Almost tipped away by Green. Olajuwon. Sidney Green with the rebound, and the Rockets are back defensively very quickly. They all sprinted down court in a hurry.
It's because nobody went to the offensive boards.
Dantley is fouled by one of 4, probably McCray.
Now you're going to get an opportunity to see probably the most artistic free throw shooter in the NBA. He gets at least a 9.5 on his approach to shooting the free throw. Adrian has some great quirks. There you saw him wiping off his head. Now he does it. He'll slip the shoulders a little bit. He already's done that. Now watch what he does with the ball. A little spin. Still keep an eye on him for this next one. He'll go into a whole routine even beforehand. He does a lot of shifting around, a lot of motions as Jim Peterson comes in. There he is, shaking loose.
Looks a little bit like a pitcher behind the mound.
He always does it the forehead. It's terrific what he goes through, but he does it all the time, and I think all players have good free throw shooters do those type of things. We've got a clock on him to see how much time he actually takes. 9 seconds.
He gets 10. He gets it in 9. He knows exactly how much time there is for his free throw the free throw show. And, of course, you're listening to that analysis by the NBA's all-time best free throw shooter, Rick Barry. Reed just inside the three-point line. Robert Reed buried it. He had a horrendous time getting his shooting touch back after his injury, and Laimbeer is down.
He is down because it looks like he got a shot from Olajuwon. When Olajuwon went down the court, Isiah wisely had to get it in 5 seconds, threw it off of Laimbeer. Laimbeer looked like he had taken a shot. I don't know if we can pick it up, but I think Olajuwon hit him.
He's down as though he had been hit by a right cross or a punch of some nature.
Olajuwon had gotten hit in the face, I think, in some battling, and then he just absolutely took quite a shot at Laimbeer. Let's see if we can take a look at it when we come back. We've got a timeout on the court.
7:05 to go in the first quarter. And as Isiah Thomas drives, Dirk Minifield fouls him. It's not been exactly a Picasso painting Well, it may be Picasso if you don't like Picasso. Early going here.
But some of his paintings are kind of strange.
Maybe it is. Only one bench substitution so far, and that's Jim Peterson came into the ball game for Ralph Sampson. For Houston, starting five has stayed out there for Detroit. Dantley, Green, Laimbeer, Dumars, and Isiah Thomas. McCray. Reed. And McCray hustles the ball back into Houston possession.
Isiah for a second one trying to help on the reach-in.
Olajuwon will go to the free throw line. And we're going to get Vinnie Johnson into the ball game. Isiah Thomas will take a rest with his fouls, his quick fouls. And in comes Vinnie Johnson, who likewise has been playing well. He's been scoring in double figures his last 5 games. Out of Baylor, 8th year.
Be a great candidate for the Sixth Man of the Year award. Of course, Ricky Pierce from Milwaukee was averaging over 20 coming off the bench, but because of all the injuries there, he's now thrust into a starting role, so he may play too many games as a starter to qualify. But Vinny has been more consistent, Chuck Daly has said, and that's maybe because Chuck feels that he's going to be coming up a contract negotiation, and perhaps he's playing a little more consistently as a result of that. In fact, if they're in trouble here offensively, they don't dial 911, they dial Vinny.
16-12, Houston. 6 points for Olajuwon. Dantley has 7 for Detroit. Here's Vinny. And he comes out smoking. Vinnie Johnson.
Not an easy thing to do to come off the bench cold and to be able to produce, and Vinnie Johnson does a great job of it.
2-point Houston lead. Olajuwon over Laimbeer.
Hakeem Olajuwon.
Olajuwon with 8 now. First quarter, 5:17 remaining. 18-14. Vinnie Johnson off the screen, but he was quickly covered. Houston much taller than the Pistons right now. Dantley can't control. McCray can. Off the foot of Laimbeer. Olajuwon missing McCray, though, right in the middle of the lane. Off the glass. Whoa.
Great athletic ability on that shot on the part of Rodney McCray, and that's what happens when you start to double and you have people trying to cover into areas. You can't cover all the men, and that allows them to get to the offensive boards.
First points of the game for McCray, has 2 now. Detroit about to get taller. John Sally about to enter the ball game. Minifield misses the layup, but there's a foul on Detroit. It's a loose ball.
Bill Laimbeer, you'll see him come in as Minifield drives the lane, has the easy shot, doesn't get it up on the glass enough. Laimbeer grabs the right arm, just Peterson right around the elbow, as you saw there, to pick up the foul.
And rookie John Sally from Georgia Tech checks into the ball game. He's been playing well, particularly the last few games, shooting about 60%, and also blocking a lot of shots for this team.
Peterson pushed off on Sally.
And it'll go the other way. John Sally, there's Peterson. John Sally wears number 22. He was listed at, I wonder if he shrunk. At Georgia Tech, Sally was listed as a 7-footer. And now, here with the Pistons, he's listed at 6'11".
Well, he figured, I think, if he was listed as a 7-footer, they expect too much from him.
John would think like that.
And they probably would want to play him at center, and he wants to play forward.
There's Bill Fitch. Had his hands full all year, but he has his Houston Rockets team with the high expectations, being in the championship series, losing in 6 games to Boston last year. Had trouble all year, and he's got his team playing pretty well with 4:13 to go in the first quarter and a 6-point Rockets lead. Dantley. This is in the lane. Olajuwon fouled by Vinnie Johnson as they double Olajuwon. 2 fouls on Isiah Thomas. He's on the bench. Vinnie Johnson comes in. He picks up a foul.
And the same situation for Vinnie. They had another Johnson in training camp, so he has the Vinnie on his back, and neither the former or the other Johnson nor the other Thomas made the ball club.
I kind of like the look of the full name on the uniform. First free throw miss of the night for Hakeem.
Yeah, but you don't like it when you get a little bit older because those extra letters make it tougher to jump out.
14 fouls on Houston. Detroit in the penalty. And here's Dumars. at the point guard position now. Vinnie Johnson in at the 2-guard spot. Nice pass to Laimbeer. Foul. They want goaltending, but there's a foul. I believe it'll be on Olajuwon.
No, it's on Minifield, who snuck in down low, picked up the foul. It's a great block by Olajuwon, who came from the weak side to help out. Now you watch Minifield on the play. He'll drop in to try and help out when he sees Laimbeer go to the basket on the good pass from Johnson. Olajuwon 34 over for the block, and from behind it was Dirk Minifield picking up the foul.
That's 3 on Minifield already. And believe me, this club does not have, in terms of a pure point guard, a real backup for him. I guess we'd see Reed move over to that position. Then Alan Level signed to a 10-day contract. Really isn't in great shape to play. We might see some Steve Harris at guard tonight. Matter of fact, here comes Steve right now. Steve Harris was 0 for 5 shooting the ball last night. Second year from Tulsa. 21-15 Houston. 3:38 to go first quarter. Peterson's been in there a long time for Sampson. Off the screen comes Harris. He's shooting right away. Misses the bank shot. Rebound Laimbeer kept alive by Sally. Sally did a good job of keeping Peterson off the glass. Double dribble on Adrian Dantley as he flashed into the lane. He ran right, was about to run into McCray, and when he had to turn around and bring it out, he double dribbled. Another Detroit turnover, and that's 6. Chuck Daly not very happy about it. 6-point Houston lead. There's the double on Olajuwon. They find the open Rodney McCray. Dipsy doodle underneath. Doesn't control. Loose ball foul. And it's going to be on Steve Harris.
Over back of Vinnie Johnson, but McCray made the smart move by making the good cut to the basket, and it was good reaction on the part of the Detroit Pistons to force him into a very difficult shot.
Seems like we've seen a game's worth of free throws already here in the first quarter. Olajuwon's been to the line for 6 shots. Dantley's had 4. Laimbeer's had 2. They just add up, and also at the line. Another player's been to the line too.
Well, of course, the Rockets, they try to force that inside game with their big man, and if you get the ball inside on a continual basis, you're going to get the other team into foul difficulty.
21-17 Houston. Exactly 3 minutes to go first quarter. Dumars on Robert Reed, who's moved to the point now.
John Sally was playing illegal defense. They didn't call him. He just moved out.
Olajuwon scoring again, and now Olajuwon with 11 points here in the first quarter. 23-17 Houston. Can't seem to find a way to stop Olajuwon, even with the double teams. Nice pass to Dantley from Dumars.
He came off the double screen. Robert Reed had trouble fighting through, and no one helped out.
Olajuwon. And we have a timeout on the floor with 2:19 to go in the first quarter. 23-19 Houston.
In that department, and usually the team that dominates inside is the team that wins the game.
Top of your screen, you see the 7'5" Chuck Nevitt about to enter as Vinnie Johnson scores for the Pistons. So now the Pistons will be a tall team with Sally and Nevitt. I presume Nevitt's coming in for Laimbeer. We'll see. Steve Harris to Olajuwon. Double team. But he scores from 4 feet. Olajuwon with 13 in the quarter, exactly a minute remaining in the first. Dumars drives and is fouled. Going to be on Rodney McCray.
And it was another great block by Olajuwon coming over from the weak side. He is such a dominant force for this ball club, and no question in my mind the best center in the league right now. I asked him before the game how he felt he was coming back from that injury that he suffered in New York. He says he's only at 90%.
Here's the TBS efficiency rating as we track Rodney McCray of Houston and Adrian Dantley of Detroit. You see that, well, you don't see it anymore. Maybe if we could recall that, I could just make a little point with you. You see there that McCray's efficiency rating higher than his points, and that's because McCray does so many more things than Dantley with the ball, and that is he has 3 times as many assists, 21 blocks to 1 block, 2 times as many steals, and that's why the efficiency rating is kind of interesting. It gives you an idea of a player's overall contribution to his team. 27-22 Houston. Well done, Robert. Olajuwon off offensive foul against Olajuwon as he drove through Chuck Nevitt.
They also travel on the play, and I'm sure that the Pistons are happy with the offensive foul. There's the shifting of the feet, the walk, as he put the right shoulder into Chuck Nevitt.
Pistons could pull to within 3, 40 seconds remaining, first period.
Should point out that Rick Mahorn, the normal backup center's out with a back injury. He could come back, but he's not ready.
John Sally from the baseline. Shoots well from there. Sally did not score in the last time he played for the Pistons in their last game, but he's still been playing well. McCray quickly around Dantley. Nevitt with the foul. Crowd wanted a block shot, but Nevitt fouled it. Olajuwon back to the free throw line.
We'll watch the drive again by McCray. Just tough roll, but Chuck Nevitt had to come over to help out. That left Olajuwon free. He just used his strength to pull it away from Nevitt. Even though Nevitt blocked the ball, he fouled Olajuwon from behind. And again, the penetration will cause those problems. Chuck did what he had to do, and someone should have gone to Olajuwon to screen him off the boards. You have to screen Olajuwon off on both ends of the court.
Some of the needy in the Detroit area are always pulling for Chuck Nevitt to block a shot. Every time he blocks one, they send 12 pizzas. 96 have been donated by Chuck's shot blocking so far this year. 5-point Houston lead. Detroit playing for the last shot of the first quarter. Sally from the top of the key. Nevitt with a tip. It'll count. Beautiful tip-in basket by Nevitt. At the end of one, Houston 29, Detroit 26.
And they have yet to hear from Lewis Lloyd.
Dantley against McCray. Back out to Isiah Thomas in the ball game. He set out about the second half of the first quarter with 2 fouls. Thomas not really set for his shot there, but fired it up anyway as the shot clock was ticking down.
That time Jim Peterson did screen Nevitt off the glass. He paid the price at the end of the quarter by not doing it.
McCray, they like to look into Olajuwon, and they double team him down there. And 12 pizzas to the neediest. Nevitt, if you call it a block shot, I don't know if they'll officially call it that or not.
I think it was, definitely.
Steve Harris with the basket. At the conclusion of tonight's game, Rick and I will be choosing a Miller Lite player of the game. 31-26 Houston. Vinnie Johnson.
Well, he came off the screen. Robert Reed slipped and fell to the ground. That's why he was so wide open.
3-point Houston lead. The Rockets won 4 in a row, 7 of their last 8. They're on a grueling road trip now. The Rockets will be playing Boston, Cleveland, and San Antonio before they go home. Johnson running and shooting. Vinnie Johnson lighting up Detroit, and it's a 1-point Houston lead. Vinnie Johnson with 10 points off the bench. He leads all Pistons scores. Here's Harris firing from long range, and Bill Fitch wants to get Steve Harris hot. Now he needs him more than ever to play and shoot well.
Well, last year Harris wouldn't have taken that shot because once he missed a couple of them, he would have been reluctant. But now he knows he has to keep shooting and get out of the slump. When you're a shooter, you must shoot.
Harris with a rebound off the Vinnie Johnson miss. Andy's foul. Was it John Sally?
It was Sally, and that's what happens when you do make a basket when you're a shooter. You get pumped up, and you think the next one's going in. Speaking of shooting, Michael Jordan did quite a job of it against the Rockets last night.
What did he took 43 shots.
Played 43 minutes, and he had like 9 free throws, which means he averaged more than a shot a minute. And there's a man after my own heart, Bob.
That seems to me incredible that he took that many. Have you taken that many in a game?
Yeah, I've taken more than that. I think I took 50 in one game. I tell you, it's tough to get 50 up there.
In 48 minutes?
There you see the rebounds, the offensive rebounds, with Houston dominating in that department, leading in 10-2 in points off of those rebounds.
36-30. Rockets, 9:54 to go first half. Vinnie Johnson trying to use the screen, and we're going to get a foul on Robert Reed. Trying to get around the screen. His first team foul. Both teams have one team foul now here in the second quarter.
Robert Reed again
pushing John Sally away from the screen to get at Vinny. And a technical.
That is against Ralph Sampson, who came in. He wasn't even involved in the play, and he got the technical. I was surprised going to say, well, that's really unusual, because Robert Reed hardly ever says anything. Bill Fitch obviously felt there was a moving screen. You could see by that gesture. Well, Ralph makes more than Robert, so he can afford it.
And the technical is missed, but the ball will belong to the Detroit Pistons, trailing by 6. Isiah Thomas.
They blew the whistle. They're going to call
goaltending.
And I tell you what, it looked to me like Dennis Rodman, who came in, actually goaltended offensively on that play, but they called goaltending against the Rockets.
Rodman will get the credit for the basket. Dennis Rodman out of Southeast Oklahoma State, one of the 2 fine rookies. Illegal defense.
No, a technical on Bill Fitch. Bill Fitch opened his mouth. Now here's the play again. Now Rodman right there touched the ball while it was still in the cylinder, and there's into the net by Peterson. The offensive goaltending call, but there was a defensive goaltending. It was offensive goaltending first by Rodman. They missed that one, and Bill Fitch, very upset, picked up the technical, and this time Vinny converts.
Actually, Isiah Thomas was
Isiah Thomas.
Nevertheless, 36-33, Houston, 9:34 to go, second quarter. Sampson can't control. Detroit can pull to within 1.
I think Isaiah's ready to take this game over.
And certainly can do it.
He's much more aggressive in the last 2 attempts down the court. He had been rather passive early, and he has a tendency sometimes to try and help his teammates so much that he forgets his own game.
Oh, there he threw it out of bounds. It was intended for John Salley. Houston keeps running that play to get it down low on the baseline, and the Pistons keep doubling the man down there. Peterson losing it out of bounds. Pistons have another opportunity.
Again, Bob, I am surprised that they're doubling on Peterson. I don't think they need to do that. That time it worked, although it had nothing to do with Peterson losing the ball.
Houston 6 turnovers, Detroit 7. Into Nevitt. Squirts out of there, and it's controlled by Robert Reed. McCray. Batted out of bounds. Houston ball.
The Rocket coaches won a goaltending call that time against the Pistons. Chuck Nevitt, the inexperienced there, he had his man in the air. He could have gone up, gotten fouled, and had a chance to get the 3-point play, but he tried to force a pass.
The shot is blocked. Sampson's all alone down low, but McCray's going to take it in. Gets the roll and the foul on Sally. Had Sampson all alone on the baseline. Didn't go to it.
Well, a lot of people talk about these players not playing hard during the regular season. Here's a lot of energy expended, a lot of effort, a lot of hustle on the part of the Rockets.
John Sally goes to the bench with 2 fouls.
Some very creative moves we've seen by Rodney McCray thus far in this ball game.
Well, let's set that Detroit lineup for you. We have Chuck Nevitt, Sidney Green, Dennis Rodman, Vinny Johnson, and Isiah Thomas for the Detroit Pistons. McCray, who has only 2 points, and we have foul on Houston.
Lane violation on Ralph Sampson. He was in too early.
5-point Houston lead. Three-second violation. This has been an ugly basketball game in the first quarter and a half. 38-33, Houston leading. A plethora of turnovers, as you see on your screen there. Detroit leading that category by 2. All kinds of violations in the ball game. Loose ball, scrambling. McCray, controlled by Rodman. Vinny Johnson had Isiah Thomas. Green can't control. Gets back his own fumble and scores. Sidney Green. Season high 22 points versus the Cavaliers the other night. He can score, that's for sure.
They put grease on the ball, I think. Nobody can handle it.
3-point Houston lead.
Although Isiah was probably doing a good job of it.
Harris is fouled. Let's see if that's, yes it is. Isiah Thomas has 3 now. Very quickly, Joe Dumars set to come back in, and Isiah Thomas will take a rest. Isiah Thomas with only 2 points in the ball game and 3 fouls.
The Dream back in the game. Hakeem.
Robert Reed at the point guard position. Steve Harris at the 2-guard spot. Hakeem and Sampson in there along with Rodney McCray.
7-4 and 7-5 right there, folks.
And the foul on Nevitt.
Detroit foul number 42, Chuck Nevitt. His second.
Laimbeer set to come back into the ball game for the Pistons.
40 Bill Laimbeer back in the Detroit.
Nevitt will take a rest. Nevitt with 2 points and 2 fouls.
I'll tell you, Chuck Nevitt didn't hurt them when he was in the ball game. He did some nice things, come up with a couple of blocks, and it really was not a negative factor. And they need his help with Rick Mahorn, as we pointed out, who was playing. Ronnie Rothstein, the assistant coach, said he thinks that Rick Mahorn was playing the best basketball of his NBA career before he had the back injury, and he sat out the number of games necessary before he was able to return, but he's still not healed.
Sampson with 7 in the game now. 7:17 to go, second quarter. 39-35, Rockets. Nice pass from Benny Johnson. Sidney Green can't hit. Olajuwon with the ball.
That's not Sidney Green's shot.
Reed off the glass. Houston.
Pistons need to put something together right here with a little under 7 minutes left to go. They can't afford to let the Rockets run out over 10 on them to go into the half.
Laimbeer wide open. He'll hit that one most of the time. We haven't had much shot clock involvement. It's down to 10 seconds, but these teams got the shot away pretty quickly. Now it's 7. Out of bounds, it'll belong to Houston.
Dennis Rodman did a great job helping defensively there to prevent that shot by Sampson.
And we'll be back. We have a timeout. Detroit, 6:15 to go, second quarter, 41-37, Rockets.
And a big factor in this game is Isiah Thomas getting into early foul trouble, not really playing the minutes that Chuck Daly would like to have him out there on the court. And as a result, the Piston offense has been a bit sluggish.
And they double Olajuwon again. No place to go with the ball, and Beer couldn't control. Should have had it. Shot clock down to 7. Harris scoring from about 10.
Exactly right, Bob. They should have come up with the steal that time. That was one of the few times that the double teaming worked effectively.
Off the bench, Steve Harris has 9 points, all in this quarter. Looks like he's playing with a lot more confidence than the last time we saw Houston. Benny Johnson missing, Sampson rebounding, and back comes Harris. Has Olajuwon deep. But just fires it anyway. 11 for the shooter.
Dirk Minifield throws the lob to Olajuwon on that one, Bob.
Largest lead of the ball game, Houston by 8. Harris fighting around the Laimbeer pick. Dumars doesn't get it to fall, but the foul is on Harris.
Foul number 20, Steve Harris. His second.
He's having an outstanding game off the bench. 11 points. He's matching Vinnie Johnson, who is reputed to be one of the best guards in the league coming off the bench.
Well, Bill Fitch was telling me before the game, he says, you know, Steve Harris has been playing well for a player who would play 10 minutes a game. 10 minutes, 10 points off the bench. He says, what we need to find out now that we need the guard help is how well Harris will play as he gets more and more time. The previous game, Houston against Chicago, Steve Harris was 0 for 5, but he certainly is showing no signs of a slump here tonight. 45-38 Houston. Robert Reed from 18. Dennis Rodman with a rebound. Dennis had been playing very well, the rookie from Southeast Oklahoma State, but had a big boil on his leg, and his game suffered after he had to miss 2 or 3 games. Green missing and then tipping it in. Sidney Green.
Second effort on the part of Sidney Green. That's the type of efforts the Pistons need. They've been getting almost nothing on the offensive glass.
Houston by 5. There's that lob. Sampson missing. I'm not sure that was Rodman. Well, it wasn't Rodman's fault. It was Sidney Green's.
Bad pass. threw the ball behind Rodney.
4:30 to go in the half. Another large crowd at the Silverdome. We'll get a count for you a little bit later tonight. Harris and Olajuwon. There's the double team. Hakeem shoots it in.
Hakeem Olajuwon from Steve Harris.
He has 17. Laimbeer with the fake. The triple pump is blocked by Olajuwon. After all of that, Sampson scores.
Rockets were fortunate because Robert Reed selected the wrong pass in that time. He had a bounce pass, would have been a better choice to another player.
And Daly definitely has some words. Johnson over Robert Reed.
He's not been involved.
Vinnie Johnson with 12 points off the bench for Detroit. Steve Harris with 11 off the bench for Houston. 22nd timeout, Rockets.
Plus, they got taller with that Cedric Maxwell trade today.
Olajuwon from the baseline over Sidney Green.
And that's the shot that he wants you to take. If he's going to beat him with that shot, that's fine. But don't let him turn back into the middle.
19 for Hakeem in the first half with 3:15 to go. A 9-point Houston lead. That's the largest lead of the ball game. Vinnie Johnson over Allen Level. Laimbeer missing the layup attempt after the rebound. Laimbeer struggling a little bit here tonight. Not just because of that play, but he has been struggling some. On the top of the key, it's Robert Reed.
And now the Pistons are going to have to execute offensively. They now have given the Rockets a big boost in their confidence by trailing by 11.
Sidney Green off the glass. 9-point Houston lead. Steve Harris, who wants to shoot, but gives it to Sampson on the give and go, but he traveled, couldn't control the ball. I think Steve was a little surprised to get it back in there.
The Rockets running right with the Pistons, not showing any effects of their game last night. Of course, they still have another half to come out and play.
Rockets with a very tough win over Chicago in the Windy City last night. Dantley blocked by Sampson, controlled by Sampson. Here comes Steve Harris. It's 2-on-2.
Never left his feet to block that one.
Allen Level.
Everybody hitting for the Rockets right now. The Pistons are in some serious trouble, and that's quite a matchup. Sampson at 7'4" against Adrian Dantley, who is only 6 feet 5 inches tall.
It's 55-44 Houston, 1:52 to go in the half. Vinnie Johnson into Laimbeer. Goaltending.
Good play by Vinnie and Laimbeer as they ran a two-man game, and they had a mismatch, and it was a good pass from Vinnie back to Bill Laimbeer.
Green tried to get around Olajuwon. No basket. Foul call prior to the shot.
You cannot afford to do that and go for the steal. Chuck Daly said, whatever you do, don't try and go for the steal. Don't try and front them, because if you do that, they'll throw the lob, or he's going to catch the ball and go by you. There's a perfect example of that right there. And that's what's so frustrating being a coach, because you can tell the players what to do, but it doesn't always get done.
The 9th free throw attempt by Olajuwon this half. And he gets 1 out of 2 there. 10 free throw attempts, and he has 20 points. Minute 37 to go in the half. 10-point lead by the Rockets. That defense is just too tough. They tried to get it to Dantley, and the Rockets are back quickly. Harris. Sampson over Green. Green had the good position and controlled the ball. What a double clutch by Vinnie Johnson. Oh, my.
Listen, you're in the Motor City, you may as well clutch it. And he does it as well as anyone. Great body control.
1 minute to go in the half. They reverse the ball around this side and look for Sampson down here and get him. One-on-one over Laimbeer. Harris in the lane. He's going to put it up and rattle it home. Steve Harris, 13 points in this quarter. Joe Dumars, and it's an 8-point game with 45 seconds to go in the half.
This quarter should do a lot for Steve Harris's confidence. He's played exceptionally well.
Quality of play for both teams picking up a little bit here. Houston leading by 8 with shot clock at 14, game clock at 34. Allen Level played the first 6 games for this club, was cut, picked back up again after the loss of Wiggins and Lloyd. Allen Level with 4 points now. That's the time remaining in the half and on the shot clock, so Detroit can play for the last shot here, trailing by 10. Kenny Johnson from 12 rattles it out of there. One, and the buzzer sounds, and at the end of the first half, the Pistons have to regroup. They have not played well and trail the Houston Rockets by 10, 60 to 50. Certainly a big game. Houston coming off of that game in Chicago last night, and as was talking to some of the Detroit Pistons officials at halftime, and they said they're not too surprised that Detroit's playing a little sloppy, because even though the Pistons beat the Cavaliers on Wednesday night, the Pistons did not play really well in that game either. 9-point Houston lead. Let's set the lineup for Houston. It's Dirk Minifield and Robert Reed at the guard positions. Olajuwon, Sampson, and McCray up front. Joe Dumars trying to guard the much taller Robert Reed. Dumars and Isiah Thomas at the backcourt for Detroit. Laimbeer in center. The forwards are Adrian Dantley and Sidney Green.
Robert Reed, of course, now playing the shooting guard position and playing it quite well. 26 points, high for the season against Chicago last night.
Thomas missing.
And no white shirts underneath the backboard to try and get a rebound.
Here's Minifield. Laimbeer with a rebound. Dumars gets it to roll home.
Beautiful shot. Switched it over to the left hand. Isiah Thomas said, Joe Dumars can do everything I can do. And I don't know if that's quite accurate, but Dumars is a fine basketball player and is going to get better.
Laimbeer had 5 rebounds in the first half. He's about the only Piston who's been rebounding at all. Nobody else has more than 3. Shot clock about to expire, but Sampson backs it in off the glass. 64-53 Houston. Detroit having problem getting in gear with their half-court offense. Green is fouled on the shot. Will go to the line, and it is Rodney McCray. That's his 4th.
Now watch that great move on Dumars. He gave a little fake to the right side to get Robert Reed leaning that way. Took it past him. McCray came over to help out. Switches to the left hand, and a nice soft touch on the part of Joe Dumars. It was a little fake to start off with as he got Robert Reed leaning, which enabled him to make the move past him to the left.
Sidney Green moved into the starting lineup about after the first couple of games of the year. Detroit's 23-8 with him in the starting lineup, and Sidney Green has been playing very well, the 6'9" forward out of UNLV. He must be very happy with his alma mater's performance in the collegiate basketball world this year. Houston by 9. Sampson misses, but we got a foul. Joe Dumars called for the foul, and for Dumars, that's his first foul.
For 2 shots.
Ralph Sampson, who was very upset by that erroneous report that came out a few weeks ago that he and Mitchell Wiggins had been tanking games and wanted Bill Fitch to be fired. Ralph very upset that someone would start a rumor like that. They said if anybody knows me as a person, they'll realize that that could never be true.
Isiah Thomas blowing by everybody. Gets it to Laimbeer, misses from the baseline.
And the Pistons just out of sync with their offense. Of course, when you're playing against a team like the Rockets with the size that they have, it'll cause problems for you because they've virtually taken away the inside game that the Pistons have with Adrian Dantley normally.
Laimbeer getting in position early. Sampson has to kick it back outside. Shot clock to 8 as Reed shoots and hits from about 18. 11-point Houston lead. 9:31 to go, third quarter. Bob Neal, Rick Barry with you from the Silverdome. Beautiful northwestern Detroit suburbs, Pontiac, Michigan. Dumars for 3. McCray can really get it down the court in a hurry. We're going to see McCray doing a whole lot more of that in the Houston transition game with the addition of Cedric Maxwell in the trade that happened just before the game tonight. Sampson with the hook that won't fall, and Isiah Thomas and Sidney Green almost had to turn the ball over.
Well, Sidney wasn't going to let Isiah take that rebound away.
It's not going to help Isaiah's contract, but it will Sidney's. And the Pistons ice cold. Reed. It's amazing. Detroit really bumbling and bumbling here tonight, and they have not been playing that well. They won 5 in a row, 8 out of their last 9 games. Here's Minifield. Once again, nobody can control the ball, and Sampson jams it.
Well, Bill Laimbeer has really got the fumbles tonight. He has mishandled at least 4 or 5 balls in this ball game, balls that are right into his hands, and he's just totally out of sync.
They're going to have the biggest lead, 13 points. Excuse me, Rick.
John Sally will be coming in. They've got to try and turn things around quickly.
68-57, 8 minutes remaining in the game. Cedric Maxwell, by the way, will be joining this club in Boston.
Bill Fitch yelled out to Ralph Sampson that when he gets doubled to give the ball up.
Sampson, not a tremendously big assist guy. For 3, Robert Reed. Olajuwon. Rebounding and scoring.
He is such a force. You have got to screen him off the boards. Perfect example there.
Isiah Thomas fouled as he drives.
And he passed it off, so he will not be shooting. It will be Pistons ball on the sideline as Vinnie Johnson joins Sally back into the game for Detroit.
And there's a significant statistic. Rodney McCray early here, midway through the third quarter, has picked up his 5th foul. That could help the Detroit cause a little bit, trailing 70-57. Dantley's open.
Adrian can shoot that shot. He's having difficulty with the inside game. I think he should move out there, take a few more of those, force the Rockets to have to come out and play him.
Dantley with 13. Robert Reed gives it up to Sampson coming down the line.
And there should have been 3 seconds on that because Rodney McCray was planted in the lane the entire time.
John Sally missing on the drive. Offensive foul. It's a tough life for a rookie. 7:07 to go in the third. Dirk Minifield, a point guard for Houston, only 2 points tonight, but his game is assist. It certainly isn't scoring with the Twin Towers and Rodney McCray. 3 moves by Olajuwon before he fires.
Virtually impossible to stop that shot.
We have a timeout. Chuck Daly in Detroit with Houston leading 74-59, 6:49 to go in the third.
On for referee at Middleton.
From way out, that's Rich Anderson. Rich Anderson has only played about 33 minutes in the last 18 games. He comes off the bench firing.
He's a shooter.
Sally for Vinnie Johnson, who's likewise a shooter but missing. Sampson's rebound.
Vinnie a little flat on that shot.
Reed guarded by Sally.
Mismatch inside.
The all-time mismatch, and it's stripped away by Dantley. Sampson had Vinnie Johnson posted. Isiah Thomas, and it's just out of sync for Isiah and the Pistons tonight. He won't miss that shot in 2 years. Minifield. He gets the bounce.
Now, see, looking at that, I thought he should have pulled the ball out because he had no help down there. He was going against a couple of the Pistons, but I guess when the team's on the roll and they're going good, things like that work out for them.
Unless Detroit can find another gear, we're headed to a blowout at 78-61. 5:26 to go in the third, and Olajuwon with a foul as he punches the ball away from John Sally.
I should have kept my big mouth shut at the start of the show when I said, now watch, when I explained why it's going to be tough for the Rockets to come here. I said, watch, they'll win by 20.
With the Rockets coming off of a tough game in Chicago last night, one would think they'd be a little tired, but they haven't played that way.
So we got 17 minutes to prove us correct. And again, bad hands inside, and the Rockets are doing a great job of shutting down the middle.
John Sally with the foul, and Laimbeer just knocked Olajuwon down and off the court. Remember, early in the ballgame, Olajuwon with an elbow doubled over Bill Laimbeer. And I guess what goes around comes around.
Now watch Laimbeer. He's running on the right part of your screen. Keep an eye on him. Now he's in the middle of the screen. Olajuwon inside. There's the foul. He runs after. He couldn't stop himself. He had gotten committed, was in the air, and he would have picked up the foul had it not been for the fact that Sally had committed one previous to that.
Play instructions from Bill Fitch. New 24-second clock. 14 fouls on Houston, 2 for Detroit. Sampson one-on-one with Laimbeer. Sally trying to play Olajuwon. He's doubled by Isiah Thomas. He just picked up his 4th foul, and Thomas is furious.
Well, actually, he's lucky he didn't get a technical foul on that display because he just hammered the ball to the ground 2 times.
But he kept it under control.
Well, those are the type of things the players I used to know would have gotten a technical foul for.
Like maybe with initials RB?
Perhaps.
Olajuwon doubled again. Doesn't get the fall, but there's a foul down low, and it's going to be on Houston against Sampson, I believe. Yeah. No. Check that.
Now here's Isiah coming in to help out. There's the 1. 2 big displays of losing his composure. It's, however, nice for me to see that a player who's usually as nice as Isiah Thomas can sometimes get a little bit over emotional. Makes me feel good.
And Houston's in the penalty, and it was on Ralph Sampson, and Laimbeer will go to the line for the Pistons. Sampson has 3 personals, as does Olajuwon. 5 for McCray, 4 on Isiah Thomas.
Now, what Isiah is doing incorrectly on this doubling, he's picked up 3 of his 4 fouls doing that. He's got to go over double hold position. What his mistake has been is he's tried to reach in and get him up with steals, and the quickness of Olajuwon has forced him into committing 3 fouls that he should not have committed.
16 points difference in the game, and 10 of them came on those opportunities you just saw there on the graphic on the bottom of your screen. 4:40 to go, third quarter. 78-62 Houston. Minifield in the lane. Nice dish off to Sampson. Good D by Detroit in there. Shot clock down to 8 seconds, but there is a foul, and he'll get the basket. Olajuwon.
And Dantley picks up the foul. The domination on the inside by the Rockets in this game has been absolutely awesome. We'll watch the play again. Sally with good play, but there's Olajuwon. He was not screened off. Dantley just holds on to him, reaches around. The continuation rule of the NBA. In effect, the shot is good. Olajuwon at the line, and the Rockets are hammering the Pistons inside.
Well, it's the biggest team against one of the 2 smallest teams in the NBA.
The Pistons are the smallest.
Well, Philadelphia says they're the smallest. So there's a debate there. Isiah Thomas missing a driving layup again. That's at least twice tonight. Foul on Houston. Maybe. Is it Sampson again?
Yes, and Ralph can't believe it. Only the penalty.
If that's Sampson, in fact, it could be 4.
There comes Ralph in the middle of your screen. Laimbeer keeps the ball alive, and Sampson reaches in with his hand, and he's called for the foul. He didn't touch anybody on that play. It didn't look like, at least from that replay.
Well, let's check that. They may. Let's see who they call it foul on. I'm not certain. It may be on Richie Anderson. It is on Anderson.
Well, the way that Ralph had reacted to the call, we saw him walking off. He saw the 0, I think, go up and thought immediately it was him. Forgot that Anderson was usually on the benches and in the game.
He's certainly not in there very much. 16-point lead for Houston with 4:18 to go in the third quarter. So Anderson has 4 points and 1 foul. He's making a bit of a contribution here tonight. Anderson from Cal State Santa Barbara, played a couple of years in Italy. There's Houston reversing it nicely. Good defense by Detroit, knocking it out of bounds with only 7 seconds on the shot clock. John Sally becoming an excellent defensive player, even though he's struggling through the early part of the season for a rookie. Reed shooting on the move and missing. The ball just not bouncing Detroit's way.
Robert's a better set shooter. in the set position than on the move.
Olajuwon missing, but he's fouled.
Dantley again.
Adrian Dantley picked up 2 quick fouls. Only has 2 in the game, however. Sampson has pulled down 10 rebounds tonight. As you know, a lot of the criticism on Sampson has been that in several of the games he had, like I know over a period of like 9 of 12 games, he had less than 6 rebounds, but he's rebounding well tonight. Hakeem has 9 rebounds. Boston pulling ahead of Dallas there late in the ball game.
Boston was beating Cleveland. Dallas and
Cleveland,
Milwaukee. Yeah, they were losing that one late in the fourth quarter. Tough to beat Boston in Boston Garden.
18-point Houston lead. Benny Johnson. Laimbeer with a rebound. Puts it up and gets hammered.
Anderson this time.
That's 2 on Richard Anderson. Very big team in there, as usual, for Houston. Rich Anderson, 6'10". She's got a 7'4", 7-footer. Robert Reed at 6'8". Sampson, 7'4".
What's Minifield doing out there?
He's bringing the average down at 6'3".
Bring McCray in, let him play in the backcourt as well. They have an incredibly tall lineup.
So Laimbeer gets them both, has 14 points in the ball game. At 9 at halftime.
Well, everybody was wondering what's happened to the Rockets. Well, with all the injuries that they've had, and now the adversity of losing those 2 players, they sure are rebounding and coming back to show you that they're a team to be reckoned with.
Rich Anderson, everybody's, and he's rebounding well, having himself a good ball game for Houston tonight. Houston could go up by 20 if they score here. Shot clock inside 10, 8, 7, going down. Robert Reed, now they lead by 20.
Well, Robert was set on that one. He wasn't moving, going to his right and left. When he does that, he has a tendency to drift.
What a nice pass from Thomas to Laimbeer. Isiah Thomas to Bill Laimbeer.
That's the first really outstanding pass that we've seen from Isiah. Normally we see half a dozen or more of those.
Laimbeer's point total's growing now with 16. Dantley has 15, and Johnson has 14 for Detroit. 2:21 to go, third quarter. Sampson has it stripped away on the double team, but once again it just goes right into the hand of Houston, stripped away from Olajuwon. Shot clock about to run out. Sally finally picks up the ball. The Pistons run. They have a 3-on-1 break if they can convert. Isiah Thomas, he missed another layup. That's 3 layups that Isiah Thomas has missed tonight. You won't see that again all year.
It's really a shame because that time the Detroit Pistons did a great job on their double team, taking the middle away and stripping the ball away 2 times from the big men of the Rockets.
Down to Olajuwon. There's the double team. And the missed shot this time. There's John Sally on the break. It's John against the world. Nice dish to Isiah. He misses it. Offensive foul on Isiah Thomas, his 5th. Well, the Stars aren't sitting right over Pontiac, Michigan for Isiah Thomas tonight. 1:34 to go in the third quarter. An 18-point Houston lead.
Hakeem set the takeoff by Isiah and the charge. Good play by Olajuwon, and Isiah is having a very, very difficult time. And here he is just a little bit earlier making the good drive, easy layup, nobody there, doesn't use the glass, and another one of those missed opportunities on the part of Isiah Thomas, who's now on the bench with 5 fouls, and perhaps one of the poorest games that he's had all season long.
He's 0 for 6 from the field. Only 3 points he has all came from the free throw line. Isiah Thomas has not scored a field goal tonight. An 18-point Houston lead. Rich Anderson missing this time. Laimbeer was pushed away from the wall by Sampson. Wasn't seen. Ball lost out of bounds. Does belong to Detroit.
Just amazing on the offensive glass. The Rockets with 16 offensive rebounds, 5 for Detroit, 16 points to 6 off of those offensive rebounds. That is domination.
And Rich Anderson, as he goes around to steal the ball, is called for the foul.
And then that's not to say how many points they've scored inside, because they've gotten a bundle of those as well.
Jim Peterson sets come into the ball game. Anderson has 3 fouls.
Number 43, Jim Peterson.
Sampson takes a rest. So Peterson, Reed, Anderson, Dirk Minifield on the floor, along with Hakeem Olajuwon. Detroit, with the exception of rookie John Sally, has their starting lineup out there. Sidney Greens, who Sally's been playing for, try to get a little more inside. And A little more size inside. 1:09 to go in the third quarter.
Adrian Dantley, normally an outstanding free throw shooter, is having difficulty there as well.
Jim Peterson looking up. Official Mike Lauerman saying, "You didn't see me get knocked down." No blood, no foul that time.
No sympathy.
None. Benefield to Peterson, 15.
Well, the Rockets could do no wrong here in the second half.
Well, they could be on the way to their 5th win in a row and could be snapping the Detroit 5-game winning streak. The Pistons have a 9-game home winning streak going. This time we have a hold, and it's on Dirk Benefield. With the exception of the second quarter scoring by Vinnie Johnson, the Pistons have not had much help from the guard position tonight either. Not only are they not scoring inside, but their perimeter shooters aren't doing well, and there's Chuck Nevitt entering the ball game. And Steve Harris is in for Houston in place of Dirk Benefield. Steve Harris had himself a good first half with 13 points. He just came in for Houston. And Dumars now with 8. 35 seconds remaining in the third. You see it at the top of your screen.
Well, if this continues like this, Mike Fratello will be very happy.
Olajuwon again. He now has 30 points, and these Pistons have to go play at New Jersey prior to playing the Hawks. The game will be televising on Monday night.
You have to shake your head when a player makes a move like that.
Vinnie Johnson, his first point of this half. He had 14 in the second quarter. 90-73, only 4 seconds remaining in the half. Harris at the free throw line, and of course he hits it. The stars are in alignment for the Rockets tonight. 90-73, Houston ready for the fourth quarter in just a moment from the Silverdome at Pontiac. Vinnie Johnson with 16 and Bill Laimbeer with 16 for the Detroit Pistons.
Well, it's too bad that we don't have that feed. We can do that game, Bob.
Just switch over to it. Be happy to. That's the case of two of the hottest teams in the NBA, but not necessarily a hot game on the part of the Pistons. Olajuwon wanted to slam it, but Nevitt stopped that and did commit the foul. Chuck Nevitt with his third foul.
Now, what's very important here is that Chuck Daly realizes the difficult position that he's in right now, and he has Nevitt, Rodman, Sally into the ball game, his younger players, along with Dumars, and of course Vinnie Johnson's out there. But now for Chuck Nevitt and for Sally and for Rodman, it's an opportunity for them to gain some valuable experience. And what they need to do is not to get into any type of rat ball, garbage time, play some sound, smart basketball, do the things that Chuck Daly wants, and try to show the coach that they have some ability to do some things. The Rockets still have some of their good players out there on the court, and it's an excellent opportunity for them to show Chuck Daly something.
20-point Houston lead. Vinnie Johnson, as they reverse the ball, hits a 15-footer. Harris, Nevitt with a rebound. Bad pass and good defensive play. Back come the Rockets. Olajuwon misses the jam. Sally now. It's 2-on-2.
Robert Reed pushed him as he took off down the court.
Foul on Robert Reed. That'll be his third. 11:01 to go in this ball game in the Silverdome. It's Detroit's ball. Each team with one team foul. Vinnie Johnson, the only player that's been really able to find the basket for Detroit regularly tonight, misses on that one.
And 15. Again, really getting a second opportunity on those missed shots.
Olajuwon. Rodman with a big rebound. Dennis Rodman at 6'8", the rookie from Southeast Oklahoma State.
An enthusiastic young player wants to try to show Chuck Daly that he can play tough defense and do something offensively as we have another foul committed.
It's on Steve Harris.
Isiah has come back into the ball game. He's playing with 5 fouls.
Speaking of these two Detroit rookies, John Sally and Dennis Rodman, I kind of enjoyed what Chuck Daly told us about them. He says they reminded him of actors on a play that had been playing off Broadway, and they were really excellent. But then they get on Broadway, and he says it's like they forgot their lines from the regular season.
2 weeks of the season.
They have relearned their lines, though, and both are playing quite well.
Asked John Sally what's been the biggest change for him. He said, mentally, trying to get myself prepared to play so many games and adjust to the traveling, because he doesn't have as much time in between games like he had in college, plus the physical aspect of the game. He plans on doing a lot of weight training in the offseason. Gets the strength and bulk.
Harris, the shot clock gets down to 10. Steve Harris takes it right back in there. Nice play by the youngster. Oh, what a level of his level of confidence has risen 100% since we saw him early in the year.
That's a great call by Ed Middleton, because Joe Dumars dipped his right shoulder into Robert Reed, who had excellent position on the play. Credit Robert with a fine defensive effort.
19-point Houston lead. Rockets ball. We have 9:54 to go in the ball game. Houston spreading it out on the offense in the half court this time. Houston has Peterson, Anderson, Olajuwon up front, Harris, Robert Reed in the backcourt. Shot clock down to 7, 6,
Big
5,
mismatch inside. They didn't find it.
3.
So Anderson comes outside because he had Dumars on him. He tried to post him up. They didn't get him the ball, so he says, hell, I'll shoot the outside shot.
Anderson with 8. He's 2 points shy of his season high of 10. Nevitt off the glass.
The Pistons have to gamble now, Bob. They've got to come out, try and do some trapping, try and come up with some steals, try and pick up the tempo of the ball game and hope that they can come away with some easy hoops. And it's a very difficult task.
Spreading the floor again. And moving the ball well are the Houston Rockets tonight. Shot clock to 6, 5, 4. Anderson again for a 3-point try. His confidence is not shaky. Here comes Rodman to Dumars. To Sally. Sally with 4 points tonight. Nice ball movement by the Pistons that time down. They trail by 17.
Bill Fitch is going to bring Ralph Sampson back in the game. He does not like the way things are going right now.
Harris missing, and it's tipped out of bounds by Peterson. Will belong to Detroit. They can pull to within 15, and here comes Ralph Sampson into the ballgame.
Coming in for Olajuwon, so not really going to have the Twin Towers playing together. Olajuwon does look a bit tired.
8:27 to go in the ballgame. Isiah Thomas into the lane. He's fouled and can't get it to go in the hole. Isiah Thomas has yet to score from the floor tonight. No field goals by Isiah Thomas. I keep thinking how improbable that is. Alan Level set to come into the ball game for the Rockets. And Robert Reed will get a rest. Just not getting the bounce.
Well, of course, the early foul trouble caused a problem for him. He only got to play 10 minutes in the first half and only had taken 2 shots.
Playing with 5 now is Thomas.
Excellent play by McCray when he saw the steal would have been made had he not just tipped the ball forward.
Here's Level. That ball bounced off Nevitt into the hands of Dennis Rodman. Nice pass to Sally. Left-handed layup is good, and he's fouled by McCray. And that's 6 on Rodney McCray. The crowd coming alive here as the Pistons have pulled to within 13. We'll be back. 8:01 to go in the ball game. Particularly on Houston's part here to let Detroit edge back into the ball game.
Well, what they have not done is continue to play the way they got the lead, which is more of an up-tempo game. They've started to be conservative with the ball because the Pistons have started to do some trapping and pressing. They've used up a lot of time on the clock, and this is not the offense that got them in the lead. And then they've missed a few shots, and the Pistons are coming back running and playing a game that's more suited to them.
Level. It's turned over. Rodman controlling. And the Pistons can pull to within 10. Remember, they were down 21. Nearly 28,000 at the Silverdome cheering their Pistons on. They've won 9 in a row at home. Shot clock down to 10. 9, 8. Dumars with the left hand off the glass. It's a 10-point game.
The offensive skills of the players in the NBA are too good for you to get too conservative this early in the final quarter with a big lead.
And Detroit has, Houston has that spread offense you're talking about happening right now. Shot clock to 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. At the buzzer, they miss. Sally with a rebound.
The Rockets using all that time up. The clock is not their ally.
Rodman. It's Houston's ball. Oh, the crowd wanted that basket.
So did Chuck Daly.
Houston looking to
foul. Robert Reed.
It's going to go to the Detroit Pistons, and I have to raise this possibility too, Rick. We talked about Houston being tired as you look at this again, and now we are late in the fourth quarter, and tired doesn't just mean legs. It can also be mentally tired.
Well, Bill Fitch obviously wants to discuss things. He's called another timeout. 6:33 to go. Plenty of time.
Bill Russell will have those first 2 games for you next week on the Superstation, and Skip Carey's in the audience tonight, cheering on the Pistons. I didn't know Skip was with us. Pistons can pull to within 8. Joe Dumars. Houston playing some intense defense. Thomas missing a 3-point attempt. Nevitt can't control the rebound. Steve Harris pulling it back out. Detroit's had a couple of opportunities to get it down inside the 10-point mark and have missed their shots. 6 minutes remaining in the game. Shot clock to 9, 8, 7. From long range, Harris missing. Sally is going to be fouled by Sampson from behind. No basket. Ralph Sampson now with 4 personal fouls. Remember, Rodney McCray has fouled out of this ball game for Houston.
Very obvious pushing foul on the part of Ralph Sampson. But again, you saw the Rockets tentative with their offense. They have not been in sync with their offense ever since they got conservative and the Pistons started to do some trapping. Now, Dirk Minniefield's coming in to try and turn things around for the Rockets, get their offense going again. But you can't say enough about the effort put forth by Sally, Rodman, and Nevitt, 3 of the younger players, 2 of them rookies this year, and also Joe Dumars and Isiah Thomas. They have done what they've had to do. They have worked hard. They didn't let it get into garbage time, and they have kept the Piston ball club right in this game.
Sally 3 for 3 at the line. He is not a good free throw shooter, has not been in college and hadn't been so far in the pros, but he's really producing tonight. John Sally with 8 points. Check that, 8 points on the night. He does have 4 fouls. It's an 8-point game. Sally intercepts the lob. What a game by John Sally. Lost out of bounds, and it'll belong to Detroit as Harris tried to save.
What's happening is the Rockets are not attacking this pressing defense by the Pistons and trying to get opportunities going to the basket.
The lob to Sally! What a great pass and play by John Sally. It's a 6-point game. Timeout on the floor. And Georgia Tech coach Bobby Cremins has got to be happy with this rookie from Georgia Tech. 5:26 to go in the game. Back in. Backcourt pressure. Remember, Isiah Thomas has 5 fouls. 97-91. Detroit had trailed by 21. Now they trail by 6. Houston has gone scoreless for nearly 4.5 minutes. Sampson hooks over Sally. Hits the side of the backboard. Rodman with a loose ball. Detroit can pull to within 4.
Now, even if they don't win this game, what the Pistons have done, that they have won a lot of fans here tonight because they could have quit in this game, and they haven't done it, and the fans have stuck around and are seeing a great effort.
Isiah Thomas hits his first basket from the floor of the night. It's down to 4.
again, the Rockets are not attacking.
Reed looked like he turned it over. No call, Nevitt. But Olajuwon gets past Nevitt and Rodman to put the basket in, and it's 99-93 Houston. Olajuwon with 33. Here's Nevitt. He's fouled on the block shot attempt by Olajuwon.
Take a look at it again. We'll watch Nevitt come into the picture on the trail. He goes up for the shot. Now let's see if Olajuwon does indeed get him. It looked like he had nothing but ball. Bill Fitch was up off the bench arguing that was the case. I didn't see very much contact here, but doesn't matter. Nevitt's at the line and a chance to cut it back down to a 4-point lead for the Rockets.
Nevitt's only 4 out of 10 from the free throw line all year. Bags this one.
And credit Chuck Daly with letting the guys who got him back in the game stay in there. Sometimes some coaches will bring his starters back in, but Chuck's giving them all the rope out there. He said, go ahead, fellas, you've got us back this far. Let's see if you can pull it out.
Nevitt gets only one. It's Houston's ball. It's 99-94 Houston. 4:23 to go in the ball game. Dantley, Green, Laimbeer have been on the bench during this comeback for the Pistons. Then Sally, Rodman, and Nevitt. Here's Robert Reed. He can score from there and misses this time. In the field. As Houston gets a new 24-second clock. And a foul on Dumars, Joe Dumars.
That's only their second team foul, Bob, so they still can be extremely aggressive. With 4:10 to play, they have some fouls to use. Isn't it ironic that they're the aggressive team out there and the Rockets are the ones in the penalty situation? That usually happens.
99-94 Houston. 4 minutes remaining in this ball game. Nearly 28,000 at the Silverdome, making a lot of noise. Reed from long range. Big basket from Robert Reed. 7-point Houston lead.
They've done such a hole for themselves. It'd be interesting to see if the Pistons can overcome it. I don't think that they will, but
Dumars for 3. It's good. And it's a 4-point game again.
22nd timeout by Chuck Daly.
And 28,000 on their feet.
They have really got this Piston team pumped up. You've got some young players who are very excitable, have a lot of enthusiasm. They're working exceptionally hard, but can they sustain it for the next 3:41? Leading by 4, I would expect the Rockets to go inside to Olajuwon and do what they did to get the big lead, and they're calling a regular timeout now by the Pistons.
And the Detroit coaching staff over there with Chuck Daly talking to his players, he said, we were talking to him today at the Detroit shoot-around, Rick, we said, Chuck, you've got to be happy with your team. And they're 23 wins, only 10 losses. They're just off to only a 3-6 start, and then they turned things around and went 20-4. And he says, you know, well, not really. I'm kind of like the guy at Tender Mercies, the movie. What was that line? He said, I don't trust happiness.
Kind of sad, really. I said, Chuck, are you telling me that all coaches are paranoid? He says, definitely.
3:41 to go here. It's 101-97. And there's the final from Boston. The Celtics, still kings of the home court as they beat Cleveland 133-128, but that's an overtime, and McHale got 38 points.
Thought that game was over before. Obviously, I was mistaken, but it's another great effort on the part of the Boston Celtics, who have only lost one time at home, the game that we had when the Lakers won. Right now, though, Bill Fitch, I'm sure, telling his team, fellas, we've got to get back to doing what we did to get this lead. We've got to go inside. We've got to do the right things. And you'll see Joe Dumars come out, get himself set behind that three-point line, and almost a foot behind it. Nothing but net. And that's where it stands now, a 4-point lead for the Rockets, and a very enthusiastic crowd here at the Silverdome.
And a tired Houston Rockets team that's been under tremendous adversity all season long with injuries to Hakeem, injuries to Sampson. Robert Reed even had arthroscopic surgery right in the middle. And, of course, the recent expulsion from the league of Wiggins and Lloyd, and this team having to play above adversity. And now they've got to try to hold on to a 4-point lead, and they're tired. They just played Chicago last night. Sampson double back to Harris. He misses Nevitt with the rebound, and the loose ball is picked up by Isiah Thomas, who can just take a game over. Look at a pass to Sally's foul from behind by Sampson, and that is number 5 on Ralph Sampson.
That could very well be wrong. They may indeed dig themselves out of this hole and get up and stand upright and take it away from the what an incredible comeback that would be, to be trailing by 21 points and to be able to come back and take the lead and the victory. They have plenty of time to do it, but can they continue with the great defensive effort they're putting forth?
Sally's only a 55% shooter, and he is flawless from the line thus far tonight. Except for that one. John Sally has 12 points, only one below his season high.
Isiah is fouled out
in the backcourt, trying to pressure Ralph Sampson.
Again, trying to go for the steal. 4 of his 6 fouls were picked up in the same manner. You would have think after he got a couple of them, he would have stopped doing it, especially playing with 5, to not try and reach in and take any chances at all. What a blow this could be to the Pistons' comeback. Gary reached in. Now he's standing. I'd like to know where the foul was. He can't believe it.
It had to be before our replay, because it certainly wasn't on that picture.
He had nothing but ball on that first one.
Well, let's see how Detroit will overcome this now. Vinnie Johnson, who had played well in the middle of the ball game, is back in there. Johnson, one of the best 6 men in the league. But Isiah Thomas is a level above. 101-98 Houston. 3:07 to go in the ball game from the Silverdome. Robert Reed shooting over Rodman. You can't let him have that one. Robert Reed, too good from the perimeter.
Great confidence he has now in his outside shot. He used to be a very streaky shooter, but he certainly has turned it around. He's hit 2 big ones down the stretch here for the Rockets.
Trying to free Vinnie Johnson off a screen on the baseline. Johnson comes off the screen, is still covered by Harrison. The ball is tipped out of bounds by Sampson. It'll belong to the Pistons with 8 seconds on the clock. Shot clock.
Not a lot of offense out there. Dumars and Vinnie Johnson are mainly the offensive threats for the Pistons right now.
Shot clock at 6, 5, 4. Dumars fouled as he drive by Minifield.
And that would have counted had it gone with the continuation rule. But Joe Dumars showing that he's very capable of doing the same type of things that Isiah can do.
Could be Olajuwon. I believe it is Olajuwon. And now he has 5 along with Sampson. McCray has fouled out for Houston. Dumars drove between Minifield and Olajuwon. Free throw line ever important for the Pistons in this comeback attempt.
Now, one thing I don't understand is a lot of players do this, Bob. You get set on the line, you make the free throw, you make a good shot, and they back off the line, and now you have to get yourself set in the right position again. Why leave?
It's a 3-point game with 2:38 remaining. Backcourt pressure, Vinnie Johnson and Joe Dumars. Minifield dribbling around them.
But he should have penetrated and gone in and create something.
Now he penetrates. Olajuwon triple teamed. And a foul down low.
Detroit foul number 10 there is Rodman Pittsburgh.
Don Rodman, as he watched the play, Minifield now penetrates. Rodman, number 10, goes over on Olajuwon and catches him with the body as Olajuwon goes and passes off, so they don't get the 2 free throws.
14 fouls on Detroit. Of course, Houston independent. 103-100 Houston. Reed. Sally out on Reed. He's shooting anyway and hitting. Robert Reed on fire.
Well, that time he didn't drift when he made the drive to the right. He came to a stop and went up straight in the air. And he has hit 3 now big shots from the outside.
3-point attempt. Olajuwon with a big rebound.
Not a good shot. They had plenty of time. 150-something to go in the ball game. Only trailing by 5. They didn't need that 3-pointer at that time.
5-point Houston lead. And a foul on Dumars.
Detroit foul number 4 is Dumars.
Minifield will go to the free throw line with the Houston 5-point lead. It's so many times we see in the NBA, Rick, that when a team digs a hole and makes a tremendous run to come back, they almost always fall short because it takes so much energy when you get into crunch time.
Yes, and I just think that the players out in the court now are running out of gas. They put forth a tremendous effort, and it really excited the crowd here. But now I think the crowd is starting to give up on them as they start to go towards the exits. And Minifield makes it the 6-point lead for the Rockets, but there's still plenty of time left.
Absolutely. With 1:43 in the NBA, that's like an hour and a half. Playing at 3-point shots, and quickly they can get down the floor and timeouts remaining.
I think had Isiah not fouled out of the game, that the spirit of the club would have been a little bit higher. I think his fouling out really deflated them a little bit.
And interestingly, Dantley, Green, Laimbeer not in here at crunch time for 3. Dumars missing again. lost out his man playing tough inside tonight for the Rockets.
Well, nothing comes easy in the NBA. Bill Fitch could have possibly had an easy night of it. He probably became closer to an ulcer tonight than he has in a while.
Sampson against Sally. Offensive foul against Ralph Sampson. And he'll be out of the ball game with 6. Timeout Detroit. 1:18 to go in the game. 7-point Houston lead. The Houston Rockets on a 4-game winning streak, hoping to make it 5. The Pistons had a 5-game winning streak going into this ball game. Houston's in 3rd place in the Midwest Division. 17-18 on the year. 5.5 games behind Dallas. Only 3 games behind 2nd place Utah. Stay with us at the end of tonight's game. Charlie Neal will have all the late scores. We'll pick a Miller Lite player of the ball game. Could be a difficult selection. There have been a lot of players who have made big contributions, particularly when you look at Detroit. They've really balanced up their scoring in the second half. But Olajuwon has really been the key guy if you look at game-wide so far, I think, for Houston.
Yes, and however, though, I am really impressed by the effort put forth by the 3 young players, including Chuck Nevitt and Rodman and John Sally for the Detroit Pistons. And
Jim Peterson for the Houston Rockets.
And Chuck Daly is going all the way with the players who got him back into this one.
Gatley had complained earlier, a couple of weeks ago, when he wasn't in there at crunch time because Rodman was playing so well. That's Rodman's story.
And a good quick 2 points, plenty of time left, good defense. They'll get the ball at least 2 more times, and they have a chance.
5-point Houston lead, 1:02 to go in the game. You see it at the top of your screen. Sally on Harris. And out there, that's Harris's advantage over the bigger 6'11" Sally. And a foul is going to be on John Sally.
Well, I'll tell you what, John Sally had his arms in the air, and it was Harris who initiated the contact, and Sally just took the ball away from him on that one. That could have easily just been a steal. But watch it again. Sally comes into the picture. Now, his arms are up in the air. There he is. Now, watch him just keep him there. Now, watch Harris go forward with the pass, and he caught the ball, and he only touched his arm after he'd hit the ball and knocked it out of Harris's hand. That could have... I think it should have been a steal, and it would have been very interesting to see what would have happened. However, now Harris puts that free throw in, and now they need the 3-point.
Steve Harris has played really good basketball tonight. This is his career high scoring, and of course that's exactly what Bill Fitch wanted to see from the youngster from Tulsa, because he is the shooting guard, and with Wiggins and Lloyd leaving this team, Harris has to step forward. Minifield has to step forward, and we'll remind you once again, you see that's the score, 7-point Houston lead with 53
the clock, because it's going to take two three-pointers in a basket for the Pistons to pull this one out. It could conceivably happen, but I seriously doubt it.
You saw on that graphic, this is a bad 3-point shooting team, and the only guy that's really good at it, Isiah Thomas, isn't in the game. Dumars on the drive. 48 seconds remaining in the game. It's a 5-point Houston lead.
That helped them a great deal because they only used 10 seconds off the clock.
Minifield, excellent ball handler. Harris playing in real crunch time for the first time in his career. Shot clock to 10 seconds.
They can't foul now. They shouldn't foul.
They do. They get Robert Reed. I believe it's Dumars.
They just shouldn't have fouled, Bob. With 8 seconds left in the shot clock, they have to make him take that shot because they would have gotten the ball back, a chance to go back down the court, go for the 3 or the 2, and then they play the tough defense trying to come up with the steal. That was not a good choice to make the foul, I don't think, at that particular juncture. Had they forced him to miss a shot, gotten it back, and went down and scored, now you put a little bit more heat on the Rockets. They have to do a little bit more thinking. This just really puts the final nails in the coffin.
Well, once again, Rick, you and I have gotten ourselves into the situation where we have to select, we have to have our debate over the player of the game. My vote is going to go to Hakeem Olajuwon.
Well, for his overall performance in the ball game, yes, down the stretch, Robert Reed hit the big shots for them, but they wouldn't have been in that position with the big lead as Vinny misses the 3-point try had it not been for a team.
Here's Nevitt. 19 seconds. 111-106.
They don't have to shoot, just hold the ball.
Well, I'll tell you, Robert Reed did play very well with his 20 points. Let's make our decision. What do we think? We won't announce it. We'll just decide. We have decided, as a matter of fact, right now. With 7 seconds left, but we can't tell you yet. So stay with us. It's Houston 111, Detroit 106 with Reed at the line.
I'm sure we'll just spoil everybody's evening if you try to keep this in suspense.
So the Houston Rockets are going to keep their win streak alive. They will have won 5 in a row now, and 3 straight since they lost both their guards, Wiggins and Lloyd. who were banned for life after testing positively for the use of cocaine. The Rockets have really played well under adversity. Traveling ball on the Pistons. 3 seconds left, and this one's going to be history. But what a wonderful comeback by the Pistons, and they showed a lot of character.